That is a nice dinosaur. He's a vegetarian.
Pet him.
Michael.
He's fun to play with,
Okay. He's the first player token. Just let him be.
Welcome to episode 17 of OverBoard. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Mike. This is Sammy.
It's episode 16.
Oh, yeah. 16. Can we just roll with it?
Yeah.
This was take 2. I made that mistake the first time, and I thought I corrected it, but I made the same mistake again. So we're still working out.
Move on.
Yeah. Anyway, believe it or not, we're actually recording episode 16 on Earth Day. And so we thought, what better than to talk about a game where catastrophic climate change and mass extinction is par for the course. Obviously, we're talking about Evolution Climate.
On episode 16.
On episode 16.
Evolution Climate. I love this game. It is fun strategically, but it's also beautiful. I think all of the art was actually done by an artist these are all watercolor paintings that obviously got moved to cards. But the art is really pretty. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm. As you can see by this, this sunset behind this mammoth who's trying to use his heavy fur to survive the ice age.
Yeah, what he said. Okay, so Evolution Climate is actually an expansion on the game Evolution. Some of you have heard of the game Evolution. It's pretty popular. This is a standalone expansion, though. What that means is if you have this Evolution Climate game, you don't actually need to use the Evolution base game. Sometimes when you buy expansions, you have to use the base game and the expansion. This is just a one-and-done deal.
It's more fun than the original Evolution.
Yeah, we played the real base Evolution, and it felt like it was missing something to me because I think that the climate isn't too complicated, and I think it adds just that little extra touch, that necessary strategic planning that makes it a little more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because you are trying to create species that survive, and you're trying to create them in a way where they're going to be suitable for the climate of the year, because the climate is changing throughout the game. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and
explain. I mean, it's not a difficult game to learn. And so if you are venturing into the world of competitive strategy games, this is one that we would certainly recommend. You are going to be trying to create different species, all that have different characteristics that protect themselves from, or that give them certain advantages as the climate changes. So like I have a species here that is mud wallowing and has fat tissue. So this species is probably going to be a little bit better off if it gets cold. This species is a carnivore and is burrowing. So that gives it some different advantages. Sammy's got a species over here that has cooling frills. It's like a lizard with, big scaly neck sort of thing like that. And that's going to be able to survive easier if it gets really hot. And so all along the way, like the better off your animals are doing, when you get to the end of each round or the end of each year, there's going to be food on the table. And the better your animals do, the more food they're going to be able to consume. And at the end of the game, the person whose animals altogether have consumed the most food, that's who the winner is. So you want to cultivate your species so that they thrive and so that they're able to eat all that food, but you also need to protect them because if you leave them unprotected, they can go extinct. Mm-hmm. And then obviously an extinct species gets no food. Yep.
And your species are interacting with the other player species, so you want to. But there's also a component of secrecy, so you're not sure what cards people are playing, and you kind of have to try and defend yourself without really knowing what the other people are doing. So that gets a little difficult. Mm-hmm. There's carnivores, so you can become a carnivore, and then you start actually eating the other species on the table.
But the risky thing about being a carnivore is the other species can protect themselves. So if there's no other species out on the table that you can eat as a carnivore, you got to eat one of your own.
Yeah, that is true. That's sad.
Very sad.
Being a carnivore is difficult. difficult.
It is difficult. Yeah, we've tried it. We haven't quite figured it out. Yeah. For beginners, if you're trying out this game, I would try to avoid that strategy.
Yeah.
Just a little strategy tip.
Yeah, but if someone gets a really strong carnivore, then you've done that. Yeah, you've done that to me a couple times. The only thing I'll say that's a little confusing is these pictures have animals on them, but they don't represent an animal or a species in themselves. They represent traits. And your traits and your cards come together to create a species or an animal. So that was one thing I got a little confused about in the beginning. Just because you see, a bison on a card, it doesn't mean that this is an animal. It's just a trait.
You could have an animal that has heavy fur and cooling frills at the same time. That can also climb.
Yes.
So
you're creating new things here, new species. So anyway, this is a lot of fun. It's like I said, it's really pretty. It has a relaxing feel to it because of the artwork, but at the same time, it is pretty strategic and can get a little brutal. Literally, things are being eaten.
But hey, it happens.
Yeah.
Life is rough, and then you die.
We're gonna cut that part out.